I finally broke down and got a counter for my circular knitting machine. On Amazon, there's this purple one and then a pink one. So I got both because I have two machines that need a counter, so I could compare the two. The purple one is $3 less than the pink one. And I'm going to put him on my 40 needle circular knitting machine because he never came with a counter and I'm tired of counting rows in my head. So it comes with the counter. It does come with super glue, which it does say it is permanent adhesion if you use this. So just in case, I'm going to use a hot glue gun for now, in case I don't like it or something like that, before I use a super glue and permanently adhere it. It does come with really nice directions and also tells you where to place the counter, or at least where it recommends to place the counter. So this is the counter right here with its little magnet that makes the counts, and it does say to check to make sure it works, and it automatically turns on when it senses the magnets. So it seems to be working really good to count the rows. You can change the battery with a screwdriver. This lid pops off to replace the battery if it ever runs out, and then you just press and hold the button to zero out the counter, and then it will auto shut off after it hasn't been used for a while. It looks like the material was made on a 3D printer, but overall it seems pretty nice. And the one thing that is nice is it gives recommendations on where to put it. It does say to dry fit before you attach it. So I'm going to use where it recommended. It said for a 40 needle to put it on the 31st pin when the number 1 pin is right by the yarn holder. So my black pin on this one is my number 1 pin. And so my 31st pin is right here. And so I'm going to dry fit it. It does actually fit down in between the two pegs, and I can move the machine without needing to hold it, and that seems to work really good. And now I'm just testing it with the counter where I want the placement, and that also seems to be working. So like I said, I'm going to hot glue this one down. It says to put the glue in the little grooves right here, so I am going to do that. And then I'm going to set it down right in between those two pegs on the 31st needle for the 40 needle circular knitting machine. And you want the magnet facing out. And be careful if you're going to use hot glue not to hot glue your skin because that burns. And then I'm going to put hot glue on the counter, on the bottom, and on that side lip where it's the L shape. And that's where in the directions it said to put the glue. And set it right there. And so here's just a close-up to show you how it works. And it seems to be working really well. This is kind of like at moderate crank speed, and I'll kind of crank a little faster. It seems to work. So definitely recommend this one if you're wanting a counter. And then here's just showing with yarn how it's working, and it worked really great with yarn as well. No complaints. And now is going to be the pink one. I'm going to put it on my 48 circular knitting machine that has the motor on it. And I have to apologize that there was a smudge on the camera lens. I'm super annoyed about that. I didn't notice that until I finished putting everything on. So this is my original circular knitting machine that I abused when I got it. So the counter doesn't always work on this one. So I'm going to put the pink one on her. It also comes with directions that are really nice. The only thing that it didn't say, it doesn't give you a suggestion on where to put the magnet. So I'm going to use the suggested pin location from the other counter for the 48 needle. It says to put it at the number 12 pin. So that's what I'm going to do for when the number 1 needle is at that yarn holder. So I'm going to do it the exact same way. It does say to make sure that the counter does work before you adhere it to the machine, which makes sense. And then both of them did have an email if something doesn't work for product support. Both of mine seemed to work right out of the box, so that was really nice. So it has the little magnet guy there and then the adhesion tape as well. So now I'm just going to test it to make sure it works, put it on the correct side, and it seems to be counting. And then it does the same thing to zero it out. You just press and hold the button, and that seems to be working. And then it does have a screw on the top, so you can take off the cover and replace the battery when needed. So that's really nice. And then now we're going to place the magnet. It doesn't fit down into the slot. It's kind of on the outside of those two pegs, but it seems to work really good. So I'm just going to put the glue in that same spot where there's the little grooves to attach it to the pegs. And then just be careful not to burn yourself when you're using the hot glue. And then I am going to use the tape that it came with to put on the row counter. Again, if I like it or if it seems to fall off either with the hot glue or the tape, then I'll use super glue to re-put them on. But I kind of like the idea of not having them permanently on there just in case. But so far they seem to be working really good. So I'm putting the tape down on the bottom side and just going to attach it to the white, lining it up with the magnet. And then I kind of pressed it down to make sure it sticks. And now here's with the motor going, and it seems to be working really good. This is kind of at a moderate pace, and then I will speed it up. And then I will show you as well with some yarn. It doesn't interfere with the yarn. It works really well. A lot of people say that on the 48 needle circular knitting machine that the row counter will stop working. If you ever take this machine apart, which I don't recommend unless you absolutely have to, it's literally just like a little metal stick with a plastic gear. So I definitely can see after a while that breaking because it's plastic and it's a really small part. So this was a really nice alternative. I also have my other 48 knitting needle machine. It's newer, so the counter still works pretty good. This one just seems to skip a count after a while, which is why I opted to put on the new counter. So after using both the digital counters on both machines, they both work really well. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. It's kind of maybe personal preference on which color or which look you like for your machine. I have both of these counters as well as the motor attachment that I have for the 48 needle circular knitting machine linked on my Amazon storefront. I will put the copy and paste link in the comments of this video. So thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting, and like and follow for more tutorials and tips and tricks for the circular knitting machine.